guys, it's Carson. So today I'm going to be doing a do's and don'ts of buying your first horse. So I thought this would be a really helpful video to you guys because obviously I recently just went through getting my first horse, and for me it was pretty smooth and calm, but I know that it could be pretty stressful. And for people not really sure what to do or where to start, I thought I'd make a video maybe making it a little bit easier for you guys. So if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and let's just get started. So I'm going to start with my personal experience, and then later I'll get into the do's and the don'ts. I recently just got Piper, who's my first horse, about 8 months ago, and it was pretty unexpected. I've been looking for a horse at rescues, off the track thoroughbreds. I've always wanted to just help a horse, have a little bit of a project, a little bit of a challenge, but Piper was certainly not the exact horse that I was looking for. So it all came about not through my trainer or anything like that. I had been lessons at a barn, jumping, doing some shows, and I actually had a lease horse who I'd saved up all summer to lease him. During my lease, our family friends reached out to my mom and asked if I would be interested in working with her horse because she knew that it was something that I enjoy, and the horse that she had recently got was kind of a handful and becoming a little bit more of a challenge than she had expected. So in about April of 2016, I started going out and I started working with her. Now immediately I fell in love and I knew, like, I can't not have this horse. So because of her navicular disease, she couldn't jump. And at that barn, my trainer didn't really approve of her just because she wasn't ideal for jumping and she was a big project. So I pretty much ended up dropping jumping, and I'm so glad to this day that I did, and I might, jump. I don't have anything against jumping, but Piper opened my eyes to this whole other light, which is having a bond, and an extremely strong bond, and it's just a whole different thing with Piper that I've experienced because of letting go of the actual showing part and getting into this natural horsemanship and this actual deep bond between a person and their horse. So pretty much after a little while, I just took over, signed the papers, and Piper officially became mine. So I've worked physically and mentally with her, getting her to gain weight, helping her get healthier, getting shoes on her so it would correct her navicular so it wouldn't be painful. And she is a riding horse, by the way. I don't know if I already said that, but she can be ridden, just the jumping would put too much pressure and it could, create arthritis, since she would be more susceptible to that than usual horses. So that was my experience. It was pretty smooth, and we obviously knew the owners, and Piper has been a big challenge for me and she's pushed me, but I think being able to train a horse on my own was kind of the biggest reward, is seeing her progress and our bond grow. That's all the reward that I was looking for, and I've certainly received it. And although we still have room for improvement, lots of room for improvement, I think it's the best decision that I've ever made in my life, and I know I will never sell her. Just want to throw that out there. I say that in all my videos, but we'll never be selling her. So now let's actually get on to the do's and the don'ts. So I'm going to start with, I have a list here, and I'm going to start with the do's and then go to the don'ts. So my first do, my most important, I just want to shove it out there, is that do consider rescues. Do consider adopting horses. Usually when you're working with a trainer or someone with horse experience, not always, but in a lot of cases, they're going to want to, kind of steer you away from the rescues because, you know what, some rescue horses, they do have issues and they're mentally scarred and they're a lot more of a project than people think they are. And sometimes they're not ideal for showing or whatever, but what I'm telling you is that there are so many good rescue horses out there that need homes and that need someone to love them, and they're perfectly fine. They're the most bomb-proof horses. They are amazing for showing. Some of them are amazing jumpers, dressage, eventing, whatever you do, there's a horse out there for you that's in a rescue, and I guarantee you there is. Now, I'm not saying all rescues are perfect for every single discipline, but I'm saying there's a lot of good ones that are. My next do is early on, think about a list of your musts and things that you can live without, and try not to be too picky here. Think about, what do you need in a horse? You're going to need a willing horse. You're going to need this and this. It's going to be up to you, you know? So you're going to have to make that up, and then think about things you can live without. Do you really need a horse that knows how to lunge, or can you teach them that yourself? You got to think about that. The next thing is to assess your ability. How are you as a rider, a trainer? And don't overthink it. Don't think you're better than you are or pull yourself down. Think about it and even ask someone for help, like a professional or a trainer, someone. Ask them to assess what do they think you're capable of. And try to get some insights, so that way you're not getting something that you can't handle, that you can't give confidence to. The next thing is to take lessons, or at least know that you are going to want a horse forever. So many people just jump into horses because they can afford a horse, and it's a horrible idea, because you might not like horses. You might like them for a month, and then after that you're done, and you just bought a horse you're not going to have to sell and put through a lot that didn't have to if you would have just thought about it in the beginning. The next thing is to be open-minded. Don't be so close-minded. Just because a horse is an off-the-track thoroughbred does not mean it's aggressive killer. It does not mean it's headstrong. Okay? It might be, but it's not always. You can't be so picky, and I want this, and I want this, and I want a warm blood mare and 17 hands and bay. You can't do that. You need to be open-minded about things that you want. Next thing is have professional help. This is a big thing I just want to put out there too. If you're inexperienced or first horse, get professional help. Know what you're doing? Do you necessarily need it? Not necessarily, but it's a good thing to have. And especially if it's your first horse, it's best to have help from someone who knows what they're doing. The next thing is to try horses. Don't just settle. You know, you can try multiple horses and see which one do you click with. And when I say try, I don't only mean ride. I mean, you know, walk around, go connect with in the pasture. Which horse do you click with the best? Next thing is have fun with it, and don't be so rushed. Don't be like, oh, I have to find a horse before show season. Show seasons will continue forever. If you miss one, it's not a big deal. Find the right horse and don't rush, and enjoy going out and meeting different horses. Enjoy it and have fun with it. Next thing is be ready to not have a perfect horse. You're not going to find your dream horse. That's something. You can have a perfect bond between an unperfect person and unperfect horse. There's no such thing as a perfect horse. You have to be ready for exceptions and flaws that horses have, because they're just like people. The next thing is vet check. This is like something I can't stress enough, is get a vet check. Vet checks can be pretty expensive. They're anywhere from $500 to $1,500. But vet checks are so important, and they will help you so much in the long run, because you don't want to purchase a horse that ends up having underlying issues physically wrong with it that you had no idea about. And at the end of the day, what you need to think about is what is best for the horse. Is bringing it home with you going to be better for it, or is it better staying where it's at and finding a different owner? Whether that be a rescue or a horse from a seller, whatever it is, you need to do what's best for the horse and kind of put your own personal self aside. Now I'm going to move on to the don'ts. So the first don't is never buy a horse unseen. That is a horrible idea. You need to go and see a horse before you buy it. Don't just look at pictures online and think, oh, perfect, buy it. Next thing is, don't be persuaded by a seller or even a trainer, whatever. Don't be persuaded and pushed into a horse. If you don't like that horse, let's say you don't feel right and you don't feel comfortable and you feel scared or whatever it might be, don't be pushed into it by someone. Next thing, don't rule out rescues. Keep an open mind and look at rescues and try out horses at rescues. Please just do that. Do not rule them out. Even if you're like top level, don't rule out rescue horses. Next thing is, don't get something you can't handle. Do not get something that is way too much for you, because that's just going to be bad for you. It's going to drop your confidence, the horse's confidence. It's just bad for everyone. Next thing, don't buy without lessons or leasing again. Don't just get into it because you want a horse. Next thing, don't be picky on dumb things like color, any of that stuff. Even don't be too picky on breed. Again, Thoroughbred can be a good jumper. An Arabian can be a good jumper. All those horses can be good jumpers. You don't need a warm blood. Don't be too picky on breed, and don't be too picky, especially on color. That's just ridiculous. Don't do it on your own. Get help from someone, even if you have like a vet or a farrier or someone who knows you. It's best if you have like a trainer or something like that go with you and see these things, and they can help you. And they can help you because they've done it before. They've been through this. They're going to know how and why to do certain things. Next, don't, again, put yourself before the horse. Think about it. If you are not sure if you have enough money, don't do it. If you're not sure if you have enough experience, don't do it. Go with something that you're comfortable with and that's going to be the best for them. And I think the ultimate goal for a first horse, I'm just going to say in my personal opinion, is that you have that horse forever. Horses really shouldn't go home to home to home to home. That's not good for them mentally. If you can get a horse and it can stay with you forever, that is an absolutely amazing thing. And so that should be the long-term goal. Because if you just want to go horse to horse to horse to horse, just lease or take lessons, because it just doesn't really make sense to buy a horse, buy a horse, buy a horse, sell a horse, sell a horse. So anyway, wow, okay, that was a mouthful. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you liked it, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below. You can also comment video requests you want to see down below. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.